going on, Cigar Club family? Welcome to another Cigar Club podcast where we talk all things cigars. And today we've got an extra special guest with us. We've got Chris Sussman, the BBQ Buddha, joining us for the first time to smoke his very own cigar. Chris, how are you doing? Talk to us.
I'm doing great. This is an awesome excuse to get out in the middle of the Florida midday sun and smoke a stick.
Mm-hmm.
Not something I do often in this time of year, but I have like 50 fans on me right now that you don't see on camera.
Me too. Yeah, same.
So if this thing burns funny, it's the fan.
Yeah, it's on the fans. It's not on the cigar itself.
Exactly right.
By the time this is all over, we're going to be dripping in sweat, and you'll be able to see through our shirts, so it should be good.
Yeah. I mean, I had this conversation with you earlier, Griff, which was I was going to do it from the pool.
Know.
And I was all set to do that. But when you were like, you do you could go shirtless, the mental image popped in my head. I was like, I'm not going to be half naked on screen with these fine young fellas, so no way.
It would have
I didn't know what
probably
to
happen.
expect.
easily been our highest viewed podcast if that was the case.
Potentially. Ramsey would have worked his magic on that one.
Yeah, you would have had hashtag moves, like, trending all
that
over
would
the
have been great.
place. Yeah.
I've jokingly thrown around the idea of blowing up an inflatable pool and doing a podcast from the pool, so you would have been the first to it.
Well, let me tell you, the day's young. I could jump into this thing. Just remind me to take the earphones out so they don't,
Yeah, that'd be a good start.
That would be. So,
Well,
Griff.
Are you
talk
smoking
to
it
us.
as well? Did you hold us up to the screen? I didn't see it. I was.
I did. I'm just thinking in my head, I'm like, this is hours off the UPS truck.
Yeah.
This is 1 day off of another UPS truck coming from Miami, and then a little skip over from the DR. Like, this project, Chris, it seems, well, it has taken a lot longer than we were initially expecting, but we've been talking about this for a long time, and to smoke the finished product, none of us have smoked this, number one. We all just lit it up about 5 minutes ago. The burn is already consistent. The ash is tight. The flavor is phenomenal.
And the process was one of my favorite stories. So Griff, when we were working on this in the background, he said, I already know which one you're going to like, which was funny. It was like, I've already got the, like Karnak, I've already got the answer in the envelope. That's probably way too old of a reference for this crew, but
It is.
It is. Sorry about that. You can edit that out, Ramsey. Edit. Put in a Jimmy Fallon reference.
We're
I
too
can't even
young.
think of
We're
it.
too
You're too young. So anyway, he said to me, he goes, I already know which one you're going to like, but I'm going to send you a specific amount of cigars, and here's the way you're going to try it. You're going to light one, you're going to smoke it for a minute or two, put it down, give it a few minutes, light the other one, do that, go round robin, and then so it was funny. I was out here with my wife one night, the lovely Mrs. Buddha, and I was crazy. I had all these cigars out in front of me, and had them all lit. I had my notepad. I was taking notes, and it was right around March Madness, and I did elimination style until I got it down to the final two, and I smoked it. I came up with this one. I texted Griff immediately. I was like, "This is the cigar," and he goes, "It's exactly that was exactly the one I knew you were going to like."
I texted you, Chris, and told Pugh this. The wrapper on this cigar fits you perfectly and fits the profile that you were looking for perfectly. It's like sandpaper, and it reminds me immediately of Foundation's Tabernacle.
Yeah.
It's like a Mexican San Andreas wrapper like I've never smoked before. I mean, I have, but it's not your traditional. It's just so toothy. It's phenomenal.
It's got exactly. And right now, going back to the 50 fan comment, it's burning nice and even.
Oh, yeah.
And clean. The wrapper. I mean, and it tastes the strong. You know me. I love a strong Maduro type cigar. It's full flavor. It's like the barbecue I like to cook. It's like the bourbon I like to drink. I like something that punches right in the mouth. This is that,
So
but it
good.
has that subtle, nice hints of like vanilla, caramel in there. So it's a very mellow smoke with a lot of power to it.
Yeah, spot on.
Yeah, and let's not also forget about this band. The band was something we've never done before, which I think was one of the reasons why this project took an extra couple of months. I've never seen a band like this, number one. our original plan out the gate was to have the flames actually be like individually die cut, and our printer said, "You guys are fucking crazy. We're not doing this."
Verbatim,
So we went back to the drawing board, cleaned it up a little bit, and they definitely still stick out. But the band is just, it's perfect.
The band is cool, and it utilizes all the best features of my branding. The colors are spot on. It looks great against this wrapper. The Big Buddha, which is everybody's favorite T-shirt and sticker option of the stuff that I sell online, is adorned perfectly on there. It is a gorgeous cigar. It's like one of these conundrums. I'm going to go into my humidor and I'm going to go grab one to smoke it, but I'm not going to want to like ruin this beautiful thing with my logo on it. So you may have to ship me more, Griff.
Well, I'm expecting to do so. You're going to be smoking 3 a day. And you're not going to be able to keep up. So.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a struggle.
So how do you do a launch? What are we going to do to make this a big splash for your followers and mine, and get everybody excited about this new cigar?
Yeah, we're first going to kind of geek out about it on this podcast. Pugh, Ramsey, and I will be in Vegas on Saturday to Monday. So in that interim, Ramsey's going to get some photography done, and the goal is to release this next Thursday, which when people watch this, it'll be today, I suppose. I don't know.
Something like that.
Confusing. But it'll be next Thursday, or this Thursday, or today, however you look at it, or however you watch it.
At some point in time.
You're giving him lots of editing opportunities here.
Exactly.
He's like, damn, I had the good cut there, and then he kept talking. What's going on?
Yeah, exactly. But this cigar is... We had conversations over a year ago when we were in Louisville at your house, and you were cooking for us, and we were drinking a lot of bourbon and playing Spinner. Is it Spinner?
Yeah. And you bought it that night, didn't you?
I bought it that night. And I think I drove us home. It was a fantastic night, but conversations kind of started there, and here we are over a year later. But just an amazing cigar. I'm so excited about it.
When you guys were at my house, I was in the final stages of my first book, and we were talking about, the big release party and you guys being a sponsor and the cigars and the Buddha cigar and all that stuff. And then this really weird thing happened. I don't know if it happened all over, but it certainly happened in our world. Yeah. So we were going to do that big splash. We didn't do it, but oddly enough, fast forward a year or so later, I'm about to submit the manuscript for book number 2. I don't even know if you know that, Griff. Book number 2 is going to be released April 2023. Yep. We've already got a space reserved down here in my new hometown of Gulfport, Florida, which you got to come and visit. And I want us to revisit the ideas that we were exploring, a little over a couple years ago about you coming, being a sponsor, having the Buddha sticks available for everybody, really making it a splash, and make it CigarClub one of my very favorite sponsors to be a part of this very beautiful event that I'm going to host.
Yeah, pending no World War III or IV, we're there for sure.
Well, absolutely. You'll be safe in Florida. You're behind, there'll be this little nestled leg down in the middle. Yeah, that's kind of crazy, isn't it? Sort of crazy.
I know. So, initial impressions, I think we're all getting close to the first third.
Yep.
Yeah.
This cigar is phenomenal. I'm not just saying that because you're here. I would be very honest and tell you if I didn't like it. But your profile and my profile are very, very similar. We love full-bodied, high-proof, just beasts. And this is definitely a full-bodied cigar, flavor-wise. We'll see on strength here in a little bit. But is it what you were expecting? Is it better? Does it remind you of the sample? I mean, because it is the number one. It was, I think, number one.
Yeah.
I can't remember what number it was.
It was number one.
Is it bringing you back to when you were smoking those samples? Better, worse?
So, as you know, I'm an interesting case study for you. Of the things that I love in life, and cigars are up there, that I have geeked out on and learned a lot about. Cigars, I know what I like. I know why I like it, but I don't know enough to speak cigars. Sure. So it's kind of, you'll help me put words around this. To me, this is like a great fish, right? You know, when people describe fish, there's a funny Jim Gaffigan joke where he's like, you never describe steak as not tasting steaky, right? Fish,
Yeah, so
you
true.
have a good fish when it doesn't taste
fishy.
fishy. To me, I like a cigar where the flavors of the tobacco are this amalgamation, this wonderful thing that happens between the flame, the wrapper, and the tobacco in your mouth that doesn't taste like tobacco. It tastes like something else. It's transcendent. And that's what I really love about this cigar. It doesn't smoke like a big cigarette, or it doesn't smoke like a cheap cigar. It smokes like a wonderful, delicious, high quality fish. To get back to my analogy,
there you go.
It's
Fish
like
and cigars.
Fish and cigars. You never thought we'd be able to put the two together, but here we are, fish and cigars.
Here
So
we are.
Maybe that's the next cigar we call.
yes.
So for everyone listening, I'm going to do a quick breakdown of this cigar in case you are wondering, maybe depending on the timing of this podcast. I say that, Griff, quickly fill in because I don't have it pulled up. Oh, no.
So it'll be
ahead of
interesting.
myself on this
The
one.
plan, and back to my original point, the plan is to drop retail in this podcast on Thursday. So let's just keep it at that. If it's tomorrow, it's tomorrow. If it's yesterday, it's yesterday. It will be one of those.
I'm already getting
that's the plan.
flooded in DMs from all of my cigar
I love
heads.
it. I love it.
They all
Love
want to know, are they buying it for me? And I keep saying, nope, you get this. I'm not. We talked about this as maybe me putting it on my store, but because of the legality of selling tobacco, et cetera,
Yeah.
the answer is no. But I will put in my link tree, all the things. I'm sure they'll give me a code for everybody to use, and we'll make it as easy as possible for people to connect to me and my site and my Instagram and all that stuff back to you and to how to get these cigars.
I really think this is like the best kickoff cigar because I see several more iterations of this cigar in a different size or even maybe a tweak in the blend. But it's like, man, it's so good. It's so good.
All right. Well, thank you for the coverage. I do have it pulled up now. So we've got a Mexican San Andreas wrapper. We've got Mexican binder. And then for our filler, we've got Dominican Piloto Cubano, as well as a handful of other Dominican fillers. So this cigar is jam-packed with just really full-bodied tobacco. It's exactly to Griff's point. I think this embodies yourself, Chris, and is right up Griff's alley in terms of boldness and strength.
So
strength to be seen, but boldness to start.
yeah, we'll all see. Here's I always love it when I after smoking a cigar, I get up to go inside to get a glass of bourbon or something. I'm like, oh, the kitchen used to be great.
One of the reasons I'm not drinking bourbon right now. It's like I want a fresh palate, but I'm like I also want to see how this thing performs sober.
So this may fall on deaf ears to your audience, but it may not to mine. So walk me through all the components that you did. Give the barbecue Buddha a little education. Yeah. Let's start with I think you said the wrapper, the binder, and the filler. So the wrapper I get. But let's talk about that. So the wrapper comes from Mexico, and what makes that? Why would you use a Mexican wrapper versus the Nicaraguan wrapper that is the filler?
Absolutely. So the Mexican San Andreas is grown in Mexico. This region is known for having toothy, thick wrappers, which do a really good job of fermenting to be a Maduro. So those dark flavors, those heavy, bold flavors that you enjoy in your cigar, and Griff does as well. This region just produces really good, strong tobacco that has the ability to ferment into a dark Maduro. And then furthering that into the binder. So the wrapper is going to be what's over the binder. The binder is what holds the filler together, which is, let me grab a cigar, but it's the inside of the cigar. It's usually what makes up the largest component of the cigar, depending on the size of it. And so without the wrapper, you just have a binder and everything's going to fall apart. Without the binder, you're going to have the same issues. Your filler isn't going to be, you've got to keep that filler together. So if we take a look at the end of a cigar, it's a little, won't focus, but in there is going to be all of that cigar that you see here is pretty much your filler. There's going to be a singular leaf or maybe a leaf or so around that filler to bind it all together, hence the name binder. And then your wrapper is going to be this beautiful leaf. You want minimal spots, minimal veins in that wrapper, and that's where you get a Some people say not a lot of flavor. I disagree. I think you get a large amount of flavor in your wrapper. And it just what gives it that overall beautiful experience.
So the binder, is that more like a green leaf? So it's a little bit less aged or dry, and therefore it holds the tobacco in. Is that how a binder is selected, or?
Not necessarily. You can have, so you're not, in this case, we've got similar binder and similar wrapper, both being Mexican. But you can have just completely, it doesn't have to be the same leaf as your wrapper from the same region. You would necessarily look at maybe choosing a binder. If you're having combustion issues or burn issues, you may look for a binder that will provide better combustion or better burning throughout the cigar.
So if you get
the first iteration,
if you get the weird burn like you do in some cigars, it's the sign of a bad binder.
Yep.
Or a funky binder.
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, unfortunately, in the world of cigars, there's never a singular answer. It could be this, that, or the other, but. And especially this cigar was made at La Isla. Everyone listening is well accustomed to La Isla and Ostos. The first thing that Ostos does when putting a cigar together is combustion and construction. Those two things if those aren't there, the cigar's never going to be there. So when he approaches a new cigar and approaches a new blend, if we give him ideas and he's like, no, this isn't going to burn, he'll tweak that a little bit to make sure that the types of tobacco, where they are on the plant, will determine how much oil they have and sunlight, and all of that goes into blending these things like a good spice rub, making sure that all of it comes together harmoniously. So you have good combustion and good construction first, and then the flavors will come after that. And kind of that's the foundation that he sets when coming up with a blend or tweaking a blend that we may provide him. And so all those components go together to give you a cigar like this that even as we're all sitting here with fans on and the wind and the humidity is going to burn perfectly, pretty much every single time.
The exciting part, my biggest pet peeve is an uneven burning cigar or just an unraveled cigar, just a poorly produced cigar. These came off the truck a couple hours ago. I told Chris when he gets them to sit them out. In a couple of days, when these just acclimate to the weather down there, Chris, or your humidor or whatever, I expect these to be completely, and it's damn close right now, to be completely perfect.
So how long should I let them sit out? Days? Day? Hours?
You could let it sit out for a couple of days.
Okay.
It definitely would not hurt them.
Okay.
It really all depends on when you want to smoke it again.
Yeah.
If you want to smoke one tomorrow, leave them out. If you want to wait, usually I say like 2 weeks off a truck.
Okay.
Usually tends to be the sweet spot, but just like acclimating to your environment tends to be the kind of the best thing. But yeah, if you want to smoke these tomorrow, leave them out. They'll be fine.
If I put them in my humidor, they'll be fine. They'll just wait a couple weeks for them to acclimate to that environment.
Yep.
And then
Yep, it's just a slower process. And you don't want to leave them out, for more than a day or two, and then throw them back in the humidor, and that'll kind of acclimate them quicker to your environment.
My test.
Go ahead.
And not to interrupt, my test, and it proved itself correct on this, in this shipment. When I got the cigars, they were squishy when I opened the box. So obviously hot, humid, loose. But I left it out for 3 or 4 hours, and within that time, it firms up and it's harder to squeeze. So.
Yeah.
And Hostos cigars are always firm. The draw is perfect. So that's a good test.
Yeah.
Is if there's some give, maybe let it sit out a little bit, let it acclimate a little bit longer until it firms up.
So I'm going to go down some questions here that if the answers aren't what they should be, edit all this out. But I think the answers are going to be gold material here. So Ramsey, here's your cut. Is this cigar... Let's walk through how and why this cigar is unique to the marketplace, other than my wonderful band that your great designer put together and put on the cigar. Would this cigar have had life had you not gone to La Isla? Is that the name of the manufacturer? Was this cigar already a cigar out there that would have another band and be sold as something else? Or did you specifically work with them to say, this is what this guy likes, blend this together, we're going to make a custom cigar, thus becoming this unique, one-of-a-kind cigar, the Barbecue Buddha Stick that we're selling now.
Yeah, it's the latter. We told Hostos, I told him, just look at your Instagram and you can kind of get a vibe check from this guy,
Right.
crazy as fuck, etc. But having said that, I said, this is a full body guy, rare meat, high proof bourbon, the whole nine.
Right.
But so let's include some of those samples. Work your magic. I didn't tell him what to blend because I have no idea. This is where we look to him for his expertise. But I said, let's not have them all super, super dark, which in reality, when you sent me the list in order, which I don't have in front of me, I think we sent you maybe one or two with Habano wrappers. So historically speaking, not as strong as this cigar. They weren't high on your list.
Right.
They were third and fourth. So Hostess and I and Pugh, we kind of were thinking, knowing what you like, you're going to go for the powerhouse, and clearly you did. And I don't say powerhouse in a negative connotation, like this is going to put you on your ass. I don't think. Again, we will see, but it fits your profile in terms of flavor, dark Maduros, and so this blend, we could call it the Buddha blend, the Buddha stick, the whatever.
Right.
Was created.
Yeah, and something like this, what's fun is we give him the foundation, right? So we knew the alley, the lane that you wanted to be in, and we say, hey, here's some things that we think may work, or cigars that you like, or that you're looking for, maybe the flavor, the outcome of the cigar. And something like a project like this, Osos is really able to take our feedback, since we're not actively down there blending every single cigar, or being hands-on with every single cigar. This is where he comes in and is an extension of our idea or what we're looking for or the outcome of the project, and he was able to put together 4 unique blends that ultimately are what we sent to you. And from there, you're able to go through and kind of the process that you would have at the factory of smoking different blends and narrowing down to one that you like. And ultimately, I think you picked, based off the list, I think you picked the best one of the 4.
Yeah, I see a road trip in the future where we all go there. That would be great content. And then do the tasting and walking through the fields and meeting the manufacturers. I would be all into that. Not to invite myself, but that would be compelling content for me, my viewers. It'd be a great experience. You could hook me up with their guys. I'll cook for everybody.
So we do some Dominican style barbecue.
Set some stuff. Yeah, like live fire.
Go slaughter a cow.
Yeah. I will watch the slaughtering, and I'll butcher it post slaughter.
There you go.
But I'd end up as crazy as it sounds as a barbecue guy. I love animals so much, I'd befriend the cow, and then I would refuse to cut it.
Sure.
Right, but if it's already cut up, I'm cooking it.
We're now taking a transport home. We're bringing Betsy back with us. She's now living in Gulfport.
Yeah, now we've got a new cigar out for Barbecue Buddha, and he has a new pet. Miss Buddha, look,
Oh
my
God.
Well, that's awesome. So, how are you going to sell it on your site? Does it come? Because I know you send packages to people of different blends, and you narrow in on their likes and their dislikes. But if people just want, hey, I want the Barbecue Buddha experience, will there be like a 5-pack of Barbecue Buddha sticks that people could buy or more?
Yep, absolutely. So these will be sold exclusively as 5-packs on our website. So we'll have a comment below or a link below to it for you, anyone watching and listening, to be able to purchase this 5-pack of the Barbecue Buddha sticks. And we'll ship those out in a bag, and it'll be right to everyone's door.
It should be, I think, we'll make it this now, cigarclub.com/Buddha, if we haven't already, for simplistic ease.
Yep, and as we get closer to Thursday, I'll do some magic, and I'll do a creative reel with the stick, and really we'll do a splash. So when you guys are ready at the go for go time, let me know, and I'll be ready on my side with the content and all of that.
Well, I know one of our questions, because I actually don't know this unless we talked about it, and I don't recall from the bourbon intake. What's your cigar journey? What got you into cigars? Have you been smoking cigars all your life? Give us the lowdown.
As you know, I cook, do barbecue, all that stuff. I had the luxury or the benefit of growing up the son of a restaurateur. My dad owned 3 steakhouses like Morton's or the Palm, if you're familiar with those. And it was a place called Jomo's in Washington, D.C. from the late 70s to the early 90s. He had a 20-plus year run in town. And as I got older and started working in the restaurant and working and hanging out with everybody, cigars would often make an appearance late at night as you were closing down and sitting in the back room playing backgammon or poker with everybody. So that's really like with my dad and his friends and the people that we worked with. Cigars always went hand in hand with my favorite things. You know, you're winding down from a long, hard day in the restaurant business. You're not ready to go home and go to bed. So we're all back there playing poker or backgammon, having a nice bourbon or scotch and smoking a cigar. And I've been hooked ever since. That's when the cigar journey began. So I was about 18, 19 years old when I smoked my first stick.
A couple years ago.
Yeah. I'm a tender young man these days. So yeah. I have multi. Yeah,
that's insane.
The fan got me.
Yeah,
I think it was on camera too. The fan got me a while ago.
I'm trying so hard. It's going to hit me on my thigh in a second.
Boom. So yeah, and then from there it really was just a process of elimination. I knew right away that I didn't know what I was knowing, and back then there was no information.
Mm-hmm.
You just kind of anybody had a cigar. But then as I started to get brave enough to go into cigar shops and experiment and find my way around, I think Camacho Triple X was the first Maduro that I ever smoked. And that cigar changed my life. First of all, are we allowed to say off-color language on this podcast? It's not going to offend anyone. All right,
whatever you want.
That cigar was the first cigar that knocked my dick in the dirt. I mean, I was drinking a copious amount of bourbon as well, but that cigar punched me in all the right kind of ways. It was strong, it was bold, that flavor. And at that point, that's when I began my Maduro. I at least now knew to go into cigar shops and say, I'm a Maduro guy. I like Maduros. And
it's
then
a big step.
It is a big step. It is big. And I have not gone back, I do appreciate all other cigars. The stuff you send me, they're all great. But when you get to that knock your dick in the dirt, kind of cigar experience, that's when I'm a happy camper.
Now, I know prior to you becoming a pitmaster, you were in IT, and your journey into barbecue, you kept journals to really understand meat and smoking and cooking and all of the kind of nuances of trial and error of barbecuing. Did you ever start a cigar journal to see? I know you said you quickly knew that you liked Maduros, but did you do anything similar within cigars? I know it necessarily wasn't a job, but like you were as you were learning barbecuing, but did you ever kind of as a hobby, start a cigar journal?
Well, what I did is I did two things. And I'm just so angry at myself, especially at this moment in time, sitting with two cigar heads and being a cigar head myself, that of all the things about, like, I could talk to you at hours about bourbon, how it's made, why is this, why this blend is, this mash bill is better than that mash bill. I took the steak, same thing. Cigars, I just know what I like. And how I did that is, with the dawning of the iPhones, whenever I would smoke a cigar that I'd like, I keep on my iPhone, I have an album of cigars. And so it's kind of like an app where I just, if I like it, and I take a picture of it, and then I go into my cigar place or and I say, hey, these are what I like. Can you give me other ones that are like this? That's how I've learned the journey. So I have like a suite of cigars now that I really like and will get, or when I'm out traveling, we'll go and know. But I have not gone the extra mile to find out what the wrapper is, the binder. I just know what I like, and that so far has been good enough for me. And it's been, but I do want to learn more.
Yeah, no, I've got an album on my phone.
It takes a lot of people a long time to get to that point, and they usually start with Connecticut's because they're, unlike you, they're kind of terrified of it being this massive strong cigar. So you've honed in the playing field quite a bit. I'm a big Maduro guy myself, so any Maduro will usually fit perfectly for what I'm looking for. But I the other day I was searching for something, and I've told my wife that you could search by date and it'll show you the picture taken on that date or city. And I'm like, I wonder if I search cigar. Is it smart enough? Sure enough, I searched cigar, and there's all of them, because I take a picture of every single cigar I take. I 95% take a picture of every cigar I smoke, and sure enough, they're all there. I'm like, oh, that is freaking awesome. So I scrolled back to like my first couple that I started smoking. It's pretty cool.
It's super cool. And that's like one of those down low features that they just snuck into iPhones. I'm sure it's in Samsung devices or the Android devices as well. But it's like when I discovered that, and I didn't have to like go search, I could just type in steak or cheeseburger. I knew I had a post out there somewhere, and it would show me all the things. But then it gets weird, you know. You start going like feet, and then you realize what a crippling other addiction you have. I have all these nails. I don't have pictures of feet, but it sounded funny. It was a good comic. I liked it. Right. Now, I know the very first thing that all of you are going to do when you're there, you're like, he left his phone when he went to the bathroom. We're going to search through his photos and see if he has feet photos in there. Right.
Or take a picture of ours for you. So.
Airdrop me some feet. Yeah. That's a band name there. Airdrop me some feet. Yeah. So these are great.
Exactly it.
So, Maduro. Why do I like Maduros? You said they ferment. How do you ferment a cigar wrapper?
Oh,
Talk
no.
to the
Griff.
ashes
It is
falling.
everywhere. I got to stand up and blow everything.
I always love after a night of a great cigar evening at my house. I have the same chair I sit in. It's in my outdoor porch, and the next day I'll come up to inevitably clean up the mess I left, and it's like this ash ring all around the chair that I was sitting in the night before because I get
just
cigar smoking. It's just ashes everywhere. It looked like I put a ring of ashes. Oh, look at him with his shop vac. He's
fancy.
He's a true. Oh, that's a fan. He's just blowing it all off. I thought he had a shop vac.
It would be smart if I did, actually.
Yeah, I was like, man, you know what you're doing.
Sorry for that. It's bound to happen eventually. Well,
he was prepared.
That was pretty impressive. I don't ever usually carry it this long because of that reason, but I was testing the waters. I'm back.
Welcome back.
Sorry.
Well, hopefully we got that on camera. But to answer your question, Maduro in Spanish means ripe, and that's where it gets its name from. And these tend to be dark brown, oily, usually from the highest leaves on the tobacco plant, meaning they had the most sun as they were growing. And that allows them to be fermented longer, which produces more, I say more flavor, but it's usually due to that oil content. So if you look at this cigar, if you've got it in your hands at home, when Griff was talking earlier about being a toothy cigar, that tooth is the oil content of the cigar. So as you smoke this cigar, your ash will actually have that tooth as well. And I love a toothy cigar because it's just that oil content. There's something...
It coats your mouth.
It does.
Yeah.
It coats your mouth. There's a presentation factor to having a toothy cigar that appeals to me, and a lot of that is due to that oil content in it.
That's amazing. So, could you think of the tobacco growth and the placement and the exposure to sun like a wine person would think about grapes? Like the more powerful Cabernet grapes are in that hot summer sun, and all that sugars are distilled into the grape that gives it that really powerful distillation into the lovely Cabernet that everybody likes to drink. Is it a similar process with cigar growth and
Absolutely.
Such?
Terroir plays in a huge factor into cigars and the flavors. There's certain regions that will have just a natural characteristic about the tobacco that's grown there that can be used to bring out more floral flavors or sweet flavors. I think of Jalapa from Nicaragua. I usually associate that with more fruitier or sweet flavors. Ometepe tends to be more minerally because it's grown in volcanic soil in Nicaragua. And so, depending, and that's why, the Mexican soil and climate produces these higher oily content, cigars that are great for the Maduro's type of tobacco or fermentation.
I just got it. A note hit me about 5 minutes ago, and I could not put my finger on it. I'm getting straight milk dud type flavors, like chocolatey raisin. Man.
Yeah, what were the name of those chocolatey raisins? Those weren't goobers. Goobers Raisinets.
Yep.
Yeah, those are good.
Yeah, that is. And it's chewy like that, too. It gives you that mouthfeel of eating that tart raisin with the smooth, silky chocolate. Yeah. It all coats your mouth. Now, are we freaking people out that don't? I mean, do you find most of your cigar buyers? Here's my fear. Is that I'm scaring away your average just daily cigar smoker. When I have cigar smokers in my house, or let me say your casual cigar smokers, the Maduros tend to freak people out, if they're not used to the strength of a Maduro. So
my first thought to that is maybe a cheap, not quality tobacco Maduro. a high-quality Maduro, in theory, really shouldn't give you much of a nicotine buzz. I always associate, and maybe that's like a misconception out there. People think Maduro is like, I'm not going to be able to get up out of my chair. But to me, they're the most flavorful cigars on the market, and that's why I smoke them, just like I associate 115 plus bourbon as my bourbon of choice, because to me it's more flavorful, right? So I would hand this cigar to anybody, and I'm trying to gauge the strength. Also, like a massive thunderstorm's coming, so this will be fun. It feels amazing. I'm trying to gauge the strength as we smoke it, and it's really right now maybe a medium plus.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Which says a lot.
Yeah,
especially
about the
fresh.
blend.
Like not fresh, but like
Yes.
this cigar hasn't been aging for a year like we've had some cigars. This has got several months on it, but in terms of some cigars, that's more fresh than others. Some cigars can age or will age after they've been rolled for over a year because of how oily or how high that strength content is. But right now, I think this is a medium. There's what's beautiful about Ostos and his ability to blend a cigar. It's clean. Some Maduros that you'll have are just going to leave this harsh, bitter, acrid aftertaste. And Griff's blown away. And so far, halfway through this cigar,
this is awesome.
It's the oil content on the palate is making me want to go back for more, as opposed to some cigars that I've had. It's pushing me away, whereas this one I'm like, I'm ready to go back for more. And I think that's speaks for
as you get down to the nub, which is my favorite part. It's just the richness. It's getting more rich and deep flavor and coats your tongue. It's awesome.
We're also usually on podcasts, you tend to smoke a lot quicker than you would when you're not being recorded or having conversations. So if we were off camera and we were just sitting by ourselves or just with family or whatever, you'll probably smoke it a little bit slower, which will even help more with obviously not getting a nicotine buzz and construction and all of that. We're smoking a little bit quicker than normal, and it's still performing.
We are,
great.
but you know what? That's another thing. And I know some experienced cigar smokers that I hang out with on occasion give me hard time about this. I smoke cigars quickly just because I enjoy I do. Now, why as a seasoned cigar smoker, what do I need to do to prevent to smoke cigars less quickly? What's the advantage, and what do I do as
that's one of your biggest flaws in life?
Yes, I know. I have several. The graying beard may be one of them. The receding hairline, another, and fast cigar smoking is probably a top third.
There's no right or wrong. My shirt could blow off here in a minute.
Yeah,
so
well, you're looking really rock and roll.
Dorothy's flying around over here.
The palm tree in the background.
Like dust in my eye. Yeah. There is no right or wrong. I mean, by definition, the suggested way of smoking a cigar is obviously slow, maybe a minute per puff, which you're maybe doing 10 seconds or so, which is fine. But ideally, you don't want the cigar to overheat. You want to keep it nice and hot, but not super, super hot. And my personal way to judge that is if you squeeze it and it's like super spongy, let's slow down a little bit, just to my humidity point earlier. You want it to firm up a little bit. So in theory, if you're doing a nice puff every 45 seconds or whatever, your cigar should, again, all in theory, should stay nice and firm throughout. And it's just for a better quote-unquote smoking experience.
Another good way that I like to make sure is if you can touch your cigar right where the cherry is, and it's not like I'm holding this, right? And I can hold this because I haven't overheated the cigar to a point where your cherry gets too hot. And so if you're like, am I smoking it too fast, and you can't touch it, then, obviously I'm not going to be able to sit here and hold it for too long because there's a burning tobacco leaf under this. But if it's too hot to the touch, then you're overcombusting it. And as that happens, the cigar, you get more of those bitter, acrid flavors that aren't, you want those delicious, chocolately, caramelly, even like beef jerky flavors I'm picking up as I start to get in the halfway point. It kind of heats the cigar and will hide those nuanced flavors.
Right. And just to get back to the earlier point that we were talking about judging the strength of the cigar, as David was talking, I'm like, holy cow. the nicotine is kicking in because that sign keeps getting closer and going back and farther away. And then it dawned on me, it must be the fan that's blowing on him. That's
it's also got I'm not as windy as Griff is here, but I've got a little breeze going on as well.
Yeah.
The real
whoa.
test is stand up and just sprint straight and see how far you get and if you're in a straight line.
Well, good news, I haven't eaten all day, and this bad boy is not kicking my rear end. So
that's a good test too. I ate before.
I think this is a happy medium, maybe a slight medium plus, but this is not a full strength, full nicotine cigar. There's body and there's strength. Body refers to, if you have a full-bodied cigar, it refers to the flavors in the cigar and how many, if they're super nuanced and there's a lot of different flavors, usually you would say that's a full-bodied cigar. If you can easily, get those flavors. If you have a full-strength cigar, that's going to refer to the nicotine content. So when we say a medium-strength cigar, that means the nicotine level is sitting there right at a medium. It's not, some Padron cigars are high in nicotine content, so therefore they're high in strength.
Right.
And those words will, unfortunately, it's still medium, mild, medium, or full when referring to these different characteristics of body or strength. But I would say this is a medium to medium plus strength right now, and it's phenomenal. It's really good.
It's so good.
It's a delicious cigar. All right, so I believe we're doing on your YouTube channel a giveaway of a 5-pack of the Barbecue Buddha sticks to one of your lucky and smart followers, viewers. Yes, is that a correct statement?
Oh, Chris, random thought, and you can say I'm an idiot if this is not a good idea. Can we throw in a hat and or a T-shirt from you?
T-shirt, 100%. I'm down to like 2 hats, so I've got to re-up that order. But T-shirt for sure. Right. Or if you really want to, juice it up, we could do a signed. I could make that.
You got
happen,
12 of them in the basement?
Yeah, I've got a lot of them here. So we could even do a signed book if you wanted to make it really like a cool thing. So I could, and the way I always
comment myself.
And you'll love this. In fact, do you have a signed book for me, Griff? I'm totally all right. So in the email that we're doing, send me your thing, and I always sign the book. Smoke something good for me, which has all sorts of that's everybody that has a signed copy of my book. That's how I sign it. Whomever smokes something good for me. It's my thing. You're smoking meat, you're smoking cigars. I want you to smoke something wonderful. So, yes.
And I love it. We usually pick the winner. So Chris is going to give the question here in a second. I'll text you midweek next week, like next Thursday. Or no, this is not dropping until next Thursday. So it'll be the week after.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you can pick one of the comments, and we'll get everyone squared away with addresses and get the 5-pack of the Buddha sticks.
Awesome.
and a
signed copy of my book from me.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
So are you ready for the question drop? This is a good one.
Team
up.
If
you're ready, we're ready.
All right, so the holy grail of barbecue, would we all agree, is somebody learning how to smoke a brisket. Yes?
Yeah.
All right. Brisket is the thing I get asked about the most. It's the thing that's always still, all these years that I've been doing it, is still the most challenging cook for me because everyone cooks different. And there's a big reason why. The brisket is composed of 2 muscles on the cow. It's not one muscle thing like most of the steaks that you get and cook. The brisket has 2 muscles. You could either give me the full-length description of those 2 muscles. There's, of course, the Latin name of each of these muscles. Or you can give me colloquialisms that people use, the common folk vernacular, which everybody knows the 2 muscles as X and Y. Tell me either the proper name for extra bonus or tell me the common name. Either way, you're the winner. That is my question for your audience.
I love it. Wow. There you hear it. What a great question. So
that could be one of the hardest. Usually it's what color is our underwear or whatever. So
Well, I figured I would make it topical in the comments below. Yeah.
Yep. Yes. Leave it in the comments below, and then Chris will select the lucky winner who will get a 5-pack of his very own Barbecue Buddha stick. Whoa, there's maybe a little strength.
Right.
Yeah. Barbecue Buddha cigars and a signed book, The 4 Fundamentals of Smoking, and we'll get that out to you.
Yep.
So you listening will be well aware of when the cigar hits the website. Chris will be doing his thing on his Instagram. We'll be doing our Instagram. CigarClub.com/Buddha will be the site. or it'll be right on our website. Very easy to find. Highly recommend this cigar to anybody. If you love Maduros, this is right up your alley. If you love Chris, this is right up your alley. And if you love CigarClub, this is right up your alley.
Yeah, and I want to be very clear, transparent with my followers. You all don't pay me a dime. You do send me cigars. It's a great relationship. I'm not in this. I didn't do this project to make a nickel off of this. I did this project because I'm really proud of the relationship. I'm really proud of this product that we put out, and I want everybody to buy it. Not for me, but for you. I think you should, if you're a cigar fan, you need to have this cigar in your arsenal, in your humidor.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. Appreciate those comments. I'm at the point now I got to take the band off, which is going to hurt a little bit.
I know.
But yeah, it's starting to get close to burning, so I'm going to rip that off.
I'm going to, for the rest of the weekend, I'm going to wear this band as a little pinky ring. So
is that the next pinky tattoo?
Yeah. Actually, that's a good idea.
That'd be sick.
I've got awesome. That logo tattooed on my hand, if you can see it. So
I love it.
Yeah. So maybe this is the next one. Yeah, it was great.
Well, Chris, where can people find you? What's Instagram, email? Where's your website? Plug yourself here. Let the people know if they're not already a BBQ Buddha follower. Whew, we're struggling over here. Where can they find you?
Main channel is Instagram for sure, at @THE_BBQ_Buddha, BUDDHA. You can find me. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Pinterest. I'm on TikTok because all the cool young kids are on TikTok. And I have a pretty good YouTube channel where I have very long form videos teaching people the entire ins and outs, not just the quick hits that you see on Instagram and social media. So you can find me all over the place.
Wonderful. And you said book 2 is coming out April 2023 or April 2023?
April 2023. This book is hardcore Big Green Egg. As everybody knows, I'm on the Big Green Egg Pro staff. I cook all over the country with and for Big Green Egg. Big Green Egg, and we partnered with Page Street Publishing, and we're putting out, I'll tell the name of the book here for everybody. It's the Ultimate Big Green Egg Cookbook. 100 recipes you could cook on your Big Green Egg from the Barbecue Buddha. It's an epic masterwork that's been many months of work on my part, and I can't wait to celebrate with you in April 2023.
Wonderful. Really looking forward to that. That's going to be fantastic.
Great. Chris, appreciate the time. I cannot wait to do another project, which hopefully will be sooner than later. Phenomenal cigar. It just turned out perfectly.
Well, Dave, I hope Griff was at my house at Louisville. I love to host. We've got 2 guest bedrooms here. I know that may be weird, but
I'm not missing this one.
You need to come here. Behind me is the pool, the Barbecue Buddha pool. I have a very fluent music relationship down here, so there's always people here jamming in my studio, food cooking, cigar smoking, pool dipping, and 2 cool little French bulldogs running around. I'd love to host both of you here anytime.
I didn't even get a chance to pick your brain on music or cooking, so what we're going to have to do is we're going to have you back here prior to your next book release so we can pick your brain. I know a lot of our listeners do enjoy music. I know you're an avid bass player. You were a professional bass player, if I'm correct.
We've alluded to my age a few times. I've walked the earth for many, many years. When I was in the Washington, D.C. area, I played professionally up and down the East Coast for 30 years in several different bands. So I've done my time. Yeah, so it's good. And it's a fun part of the creative experience.
Absolutely. We'll have to get you back on, pick your brain on music and barbecuing, because I know a lot of our listeners are involved in themselves. But this has been absolutely fantastic. Really looking forward to the next project, your book in 2023. Griff, anything before we head out today?
That's it. There you have it, folks. Barbecue Buddha, Chris Sussman. Hope you guys have a great weekend and pick up this 5-pack.
Happy smoking.
And as always, smoke something good, damn it.